Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. If I'm clearly audible and my presentation is visible, please respond yes in the chat box. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Good evening, everyone. I'm Hrithik Purwar, a core committee member of Indian Society for Technical Education, VIT Vellore. Welcome to today's webinar on null code AI. So, if by looking at this name, you must have thought, is it possible to create proper AI models without using a single line of code or having any prior experience in it? So, the answer is yes. Today, we will be doing a hands-on session and we'll be creating the whole AI algorithm along with the deployment of web app, basically from scratch and without any single line of coding. Please do try to follow along with me. Also, there is no prerequisite for today's session. You can belong to any domain and try out what we will be doing today. So, let's begin. Welcome to the world of AI, ML, data science, and data analytics. Currently, there are a lot of things going on in the market in this domain, and this domain is rising and taking up heights day by day. So, everyone finds this domain fascinating and wants to try out cool things in it. So, today I decided to take up this webinar for creating AI models with the help of Google Teachable Machines, which will give you a glance of this world of AI. And if it really excites you, then you can further on start this domain from scratch with deep understanding of topics and coding. So Teachable Machine is a platform in which we know no coding, no knowledge of concepts, and it will give us an idea about how real world projects work, and you would be able to create one of them on your own. And still, instead of jumping directly into creating the topic, I'll begin slowly with the short and simple understanding of machine learning and will move on to the project which we are going to create based on machine learning. So let's get started. So let me give you a basic overview of what we are going to do in this webinar. First, I'll tell you what is machine learning. Here we will have an understanding of machine learning and its uses in a very simple and beginner friendly way, and I will try not to make it very complicated. Then I'll we will see the workflow or how machine learning works, behind the scene things of machine learning. Then we will move on to types of ML, the subdomains of ML, and there are subdomains of ML too that I'll also tell you about. Then we will move on to the proper introduction of Google machine, what it can do, and how to proceed with it. Okay, and then we will move on to the live demo to build an AI web app from scratch. So, what is machine learning? Machine learning is the study of computer algorithms that improves automatically through experience and by the use of data. It is seen as a part of artificial intelligence (AI), and machine learning algorithms build a model based on the sample data known as the training data in order to make predictions or decisions without being explicitly programmed to do so. So what that means is, suppose you are doing addition problem by normal coding in Python or C++ or anything. So there you code it like explicitly You input the variable A, you input the variable B, and then tell the compiler to add it by using the operator plus. But machine learning is designed to create that algorithm itself. You need not to give that plus sign. Suppose in this you need to provide a training data, like training data. One of the training data has an is the value of A is 2, the value of B is 5, and the output is 7. So the machine learning algorithm will automatically determine what operation is going on. So it will determine like a plus operation is going on. So it will formulate an algorithm so that on the further new cases in which you do not have any output, like uh, in this example you have the both the inputs, you have the output. So there are many examples you will supply to a machine learning model, and it will create a function that this action could be done by addition. So now if a new example comes, uh, A is B, uh, A is 5, B is 6. So then machine learning model has already learned that this data set is doing the addition of values of A and B. So it will automatically add those two numbers. 5 plus 6 is equal to 11. You need not to give instruction that do plus or do minus. Okay. So moving further, how machine learning works. Yeah, so this thing I already told you that this is traditional programming. In traditional programming, you give the program rules and along with the operation that you need to perform on the data, and then do the computations and provides you the output. And then the machine learning process. This is the machine learning training process in which you give the input as well as output. It goes to a computer and it automatically determines what operation to perform to get that particular output. And this creates a program that is called the ML model. And then using that program or ML model, you can now give it unknown inputs and it will predict output. And you can manually verify, or if you have data then you can verify whether it's giving good result, correct result. If it's giving you good results, then your ML model is perfectly fine, and it is not giving good models, then you need to do some changes in the ML model. Okay, so if till here it's clear, then please write yes in the chat box, and if you have any doubts please do ask. Okay, so no doubts. So, and yes, don't think that ML is very complicated thing. It's not. It's just a small things combined together which makes it a big task. Well, everyone can understand this field very easily. Okay. So now moving on to the types of machine learning. So there are three types of machine learning. One is supervised learning, second is unsupervised learning, and the third is reinforcement learning. The supervised learning is task driven, in which you give the input and the output, all things labeled, like you have the whole data and it will make your ML model or the operations should be performed automatically. Second is unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning is data driven. In this, you need not to give the output part of the program. For like the in the task driven, let me give you an example of cats and dogs. You have cats, you have dogs with labels that this folder contains cats and this folder contains dogs. You pass it to the ML model, and ML model will learn it to classify that which images are cats and which images are dogs. Second example of supervised is uh, Amazon review is positive or negative. It You pass a whole data set containing positive and negative reviews, and your machine learning will learn to predict the any new incoming review that review is positive or negative. Second is unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning is data driven. You do not have any output in this. Suppose you have a mixed collection of cats and dogs pictures. You pass it to a unsupervised learning model, and it will automatically separate the classes that these are category 1 that contains dog and this is category 2 that contains cat by looking at the similarities between each of the examples or images. Okay. The third is reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is learn from mistake based. It automatically decides what things to do on the basis of previous experience. Okay. So there are subparts or subdomains of these three domains too. Let's watch them. So one is supervised learning. Supervised learning has regression and classification. So regression is actually predicting a value from the given input data. Like one very famous example is you have you have a data set containing uh, the one field is number of houses, the other field is parking available or not, the third field is distance from the market, etc., etc. Many such features, and then at the last the output field which contains the price of the house. So you give your data set to the model, and it will make an algorithm so that it can predict house prices. So if a new example comes, like one is you give it number of houses, number of rooms, and distance from market, etc., and it will predict the price of the house. The second is classification. Classification examples I have already given you, the cats and dogs and the Amazon review for sentimental analysis. Okay, so the project which we are going to create today is based on teachable machine is based on classification only. Okay, now unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning have three things known as clustering, dimensionality reduction, and association. Clustering is actually hmm, categorizing data. Example is market segmentation, or the one example I already gave you, cats and dogs without label mixed in a folder. Okay. Second, dimensionality reduction. Suppose in a data set you have two parameters, inches and centimeter, and then output field something. Okay, so you can see that inches and centimeter are basically same thing, that is length. So these are highly correlated. You must have studied this thing in your statistics class. So these two are highly correlated. So we can remove any one of the parameters. Mean we can either remove centimeter or inches because keeping both the feature is just increasing computation of a computer. So one field is redundant. Okay, the third thing is association. Association example include text mining, facial recognition. It finds interesting relations and dependencies on the given data set. Okay, and the third is used for is learn from mistakes and is used in AI gaming, robot navigation, stock trading, etc. This is a little bit complicated algorithm, so we will not move into it in much detail. Okay, So you must have understood that ML is a very big domain, but don't worry if you are looking at it from industry perspective. In the end, you need to deep dive or work into a particular subdomain of ML. Okay. Now moving on to the introduction of teachable machines. Teachable machine is a web-based tool that makes creating of ML models, especially the classification models, uh, fast, easy, and accessible to everyone. It is a fast, easy way to create machine learning model for which you can deploy on sites, apps, and other platforms. And in this, you need not to expertise anything, and no coding is required. Okay. Now, how to use it? The step one is gathering the data. You need to gather the data for the training, and then you need to give it a label. I will go proceed with the similar example, the cats and dogs. You gather the data, like you gather the images of dogs, you gather the images of cats, you label them that these images are of cats and these images are of dogs, and then you will move on to the second step. Okay. Second step is train your model. So there is a train button in Google Teachable Machine. You can click that and it will automatically uh, devise an algorithm which can determine whether the new example coming is a cat or a dog. Okay. Yeah. It also provide you instant test on the Google Teachable Machine website itself so that you can test your algorithm is working fine or not there only. Okay. Third step is export. You can export your model for your projects like sites, apps, and many more. You can download your model or host it online for free. Okay. Now, what can it be teased or what? Yeah, and I told you that it's based on classification. That then what it can classify. It can class As of now, it can classify three things. One is images. Images include the same example, the cats and dogs. Second is sound. Sound example I want to give as you. Suppose you give uh, three sound classes. One is bark, that is a, or say in sounds you give two examples. One is snap, and second class you give as one snap, and second you give a clap, and then your machine learning model will learn to determine whether the new incoming sound is clap or a snap. Third thing is poses. Poses include like you can teach your model like one class is sitting, one class is standing. Okay, or you can say squat down, squat up. These types of classes it can mm, classify based on poses. Moving further. Okay, so let's move to the hands-on demo, the most interesting and the main part of this webinar. And at last, I would like to add one more step, that is creating an end-to-end web app based on this model. And I will also show how to. Again, there will be no coding in that too. Okay, so let's get started. And yeah, if you have any doubts still here in the explanation part of machine learning, uh, please write in the chat box. And if you have no doubts, then please write no doubts in the chat box. Okay, so there are no doubts. Uh, can you see my Safari or teacher Google window? Yeah, Google, who made this teachable machine? So this is created by a group of friends working in Google as a fun project and it turned out to be successful. Mm, It includes the same coding and all that you uh, do when you are coding your ML algorithm. They just they had given it UI touch. Okay, if you want to see the first version of Google Teachable Machine, you can head out to their website. There, I'll show you here only. Okay, let's move on to the Teachable Machine. Okay, you can search Teachable Machine or Google, or there is a link provided in the description. You can click on that and open it. Okay, so this is Teachable Machine, and these can classify three things: images, poses, and sounds. These things I have already told you. It is a three-step process. One is gather, second is train, third is export. Okay, and it can classify three things: images, sounds, and poses. It have already been used to create several interesting projects like Tiny Sorter, Teachable Snake, etc. Okay, yeah, this was the thing I was talking about. This is the first version of Google Teachable Machine made in 2017 by a group of friend employees in Google. You can try check out this website too after this webinar. Okay, so click Get Started, and today we will be doing image project. Okay, click image, uh, and now we will be doing uh, right hand up, left hand up, both hands down, both hands up classification. You can also do this by that poses classification too, but I would like to go on with this. Okay. So click on this class one. Okay. Rename it as right hand up. Click on class two. Rename it as left hand up. Move on to the third class. There is the add a class option here. You can click on that. Third class, both hands up. Then a fourth class, rename it as both hands down. Okay, so we have created our four classes as we have seen in the step one, and now we need to gather data for all four of these classes. So there are two options in Google Teachable Machine to gather data. One is directly upload from your system. The second is uh, live gathering of data. So live gathering involves webcam. So click on this webcam icon here in the first class, right hand up. It may ask you to allow permission for your camera. I'll click allow on that. Okay. So now mm, by default the option it's written record for 6 seconds. By default it may be mm, hold to record in your system. So you can click this settings icon and then turn this hold to record off, because in hold to record if you are doing that both hands up thing and you cannot record. That's why I'm selecting. Okay, save setting. Now I'll record for 6 seconds with right hand up. Okay, I'll get more data. There are 118 images there. Okay, 219 images. Now I'll move on to the second class, which is left hand up webcam. Record for 6 seconds. 113 images. I'll click again. Okay, we have got 200 plus images in both the classes. Now our third class is both hands up. The webcam. Record for 6 seconds. Again record for 6 seconds. Okay, so now we have about 200 images. Now the fourth class is both hands down. I'll record by both hands down in this case. Also keep moving, because behind the ML algorithms, if the images is same, that it will make no difference in your model. Okay, so you need to provide variation of images. Again, okay, 180 images, fine. So if you have class, you can create your classes of your own. Like you can classify objects like you can show it this is camera, and This is a notebook kind of thing. O- Okay, so if you are done till here, right, done in the chat box. Okay, done. So let's move on to the second step of Google Teachable Machines, that is train the data. See, in the second step, there is a train model button, and there are some advanced things too, like epochs. Epochs are like how many times you want to pass the same data, like how many times you want your machine to mm, uh, process the data so that it can improve its accuracy each time. Batch size is the number of images you want to pass in a single go. Okay. The mm, learning rate is actually it is involved. There is some calculus involved in this thing, and it involves learning rate that if there exists an error, then at what step it should correct those errors. Okay, so lesser the learning rate, better the accuracy, but the more computational time it will take. Greater the learning rate, uh, faster it will compute because it needs less computation and but slightly lower accuracy. Okay, so these things are all involved in the ML theory. If this field excites you, then you can start your ML journey. It's basically statistics that you are learning in your second semester and Python, or you can even do it in R. Okay, so let's click on the train model button. So it's training. Uh, it will need some time to train. Okay, so because there are approximately 800 images. Okay, so you can also click on this train button, and meanwhile it does the training. Uh, you can fill up the attendance form provided in the chat box. Okay, I'll wait till the training completes. Also, if you have any doubts, please write in the chat box. I may clarify in this gap. Okay, so it is pre-process the data and they started it training the. These are the number of epochs, 11 out of 50. As it's showing that you don't switch tabs. So if you haven't filled the attendance form yet, so uh, after this step you can fill while the training completes. Any doubts you can tell. Okay, so our training is completed. It took around 3 minutes to train, and as big as your data set, it will take more time. Like if you just give 100 images in each classes, then it will have mm, it will take very less time to train. Okay, so this is our model, and the third step is to test in the Google Teachable Machine platform itself, and you can export that model to integrate it with web app or Android app, etc. Okay, so let us test it here. You can see the four classes here: right hand up, left hand up, both hands up, both hands down, and these bars are actually the probability. Uh, uh, right now, the probability it's showing of both hands down is 99 to 100%, and the right hand up is 0 to 1% because of the slight inaccuracy, or maybe because of my posture must be changed a little bit. Okay, so let's test. Mm, I'll keep my right hand up now. You can see that the orange bar of right hand up goes to straight 100% as soon as I raise my right hand. Okay, both hands down again, blue bar 100%. Now let me test the left hand up. Okay, so the red bar goes straight to the 100% as soon as I raise my left hand up. Both hands down, again blue. Now the purple bar of both hands up, as I said. Okay, 100%. Okay, so our model is performing very well. Okay, so the next step is to export our model to be used in websites and applications, etc. So there is one export model button in the top right corner. You can click on that. Okay. Before continuing, please respond something in the chat box so that I can see. you have done till training part or not. Also, you can fill up the attendance form if you were not able to fill while training. Okay, I am continuing now. Mm, so you can see this window up here, export your model to use it in projects. You can export your model as three types. One is TensorFlow.js, which may be used to integrate it in the website, and the Keras model, and the third is TensorFlow Lite, which you may use to integrate with Android apps. Okay, so there is a button upload my model. Click on that. Uploading your model. Your cloud model is up to it. Okay, now go below JavaScript code. There must be a copy button here. You can click on that. Direct copy. See, remember I said you no coding required, so that was true. You need not to code yourself. It's automatically giving all the code you need to you require to create your web application. Okay, copied. Now you can open any text editor or any compiler like VS Code or Sublime Text or even Notepad too. Is my VS Code visible? You can do it on any text editor. You can open your Notepad too. I have VS Code, that's why I'm using VS Code right now. Is this visible? Please respond. Okay, so I'm opening a folder. It's already open. I see web. I'm creating a file, uh, test.html. Make sure to name the extension correctly .html. Okay. Now I will paste the copied code here. Okay, the code is copied. Now I'll save this code. It's saved. Now I will test that this app. Okay. Hmm. You can say open the directory where you have saved this. I've saved this in folder IST web. So here you can see a file is available test.html. I will run it. It has opened. Okay. This white website in the top left corner it's written teachable machine image model. The button to start. Click on start. It will ask you to allow camera permission. Click allow. Okay, see it's working now. Right hand up 0. The probability is from 0 to 1 or 0% to 100%. Okay, so both hands down probability is 1. Right hand up 1. Left hand up 1. Mm, I need to, yeah, both hands up. Wow. Okay. Now, but you can see there is no user interface in this. This is looking very dull. I will tell you how to make it look uh, uh, mm, good, very good, and that too without using any code and by using Bootstrap template. Okay, so search in Bootstrap. I've already searched there. Okay, the first link getbootstrap.com. You can directly find this link in the description itself. Uh, some moderator may paste it in the chat box. Okay, so this is the Bootstrap website. By for using templates, you can click on the in the nav bar, the top bar. There is an option example. You can click on example. Now you can select any template. I am going for this cover. Okay. Now right click here. Listen carefully. Okay. Right click here. Click inspect. From the right side, a window must appear. On that right side, there leave the first line, that doc type HTML. Click the second line. Right click on it. Copy. Copy element. Okay. I'm repeating it again. Okay. I have opened the cover example from the Bootstrap website. I right click anywhere, click inspect. This thing appeared on the right hand side. Leave the first line, the doc type HTML. Just click on the second line, that HTML language is equal to English class H100. Right click on that line, for select copy, and then copy element from the submenu. Okay. Now switch over to the VS Code again, or any text editor of yours. Create a new file, index.html. Okay, paste that thing here. Now save. Move. Now open this in browser. Explorer. This is my file, index.html. Open with Google Chrome. Okay, so you can see that uh, mm, that theme is not coming. It is because it's not linked to Bootstrap yet. For that, there is one command or one line that you can paste in the code itself. Okay, that must be present in the chat box. Okay, so this is the line. Verify that the line pasted in the description is the same as this. Paste it on line number 10. Hmm. Verify this line. Link href is equal to http cdn.js deliver. Okay. Relation style sheet integrity and cross origin and omnibus. Okay. Save this file. Okay, so I think that my VS Code was not visible for this thing. I will repeat this step. Wait a second. Okay, there must be a line in the description box. Hmm, uh, See the document that index.html that you pasted from the bootstrap. Go to its line number 10. Yes, yes, sorry. Okay, then paste the description box line here. Yeah, you can cross verify it. Link href cdn.js deliver rel is equal to style sheet integrity and then cross origin anonymous. Okay, in the line number 10 and then save it. Hit now. I hope you followed this step properly. Okay, now go to your Explorer again. This is our file index.html. Open with Chrome. Hmm, Chrome. You can see that the template came. Okay, now we need to integrate our ML model. This is just the template. Okay, so now go to your VS Code again. Hmm, This is our model test.html. Pay Copy it from top to bottom, line number 1, line number 59. Go to index.html, head over to the line um, this P class. Okay, line number 62. Press enter 3-4 times and here paste our test.html, the whole script. Okay, it's pasted. Okay, click save. Go to your Chrome again, refresh it. Okay, so see the teachable machine image model has been integrated. Now let us do some changes like these headings and all. Cover your image and this description. Okay, go to your VS Code, the same index.html. Find these lines. This is the description. Mm, Write anything. Okay, now that heading cover. Okay, save this. Check out your web page again. Okay, the top is ISTVIT. This is an app, AI web app created at ISTVIT web app. Okay, cover your page heading. Yeah. Wait, where is it? Mm, okay, here. Cover your web app. So, hand, orientation, classifier, save. Go on to the Chrome again. Okay, now let's test this. Start. Hello. Okay, this came. Both hands down, 100%, right hand up, left hand up, both hands up. Okay, it's working fine. So now I will tell you how to host it on GitHub pages. So instead of, if you want to show it to some of your friends, you can directly send the link to your website and they can just check out your web app. Instead, you set this index.html file and say them to run. You can send directly the link. Okay. So, this, this, search GitHub. This step is if you do not have a GitHub account, so you can skip this step and you can fill the feedback form present in the description if you think any suggestions for this webinar or any feedback. Okay, I'll create a new repo. दिखा नहीं रहा फिर से बना चुका मैं ऑलरेडी मैं नहीं बनाऊंगा बार बार बग ये बनी है नहीं कहाँ बनी है गलत खोल दी ये रही. We will create a new repo, IST webinar. Open your Explorer or just click here, add file, upload file. Select this index.html file, upload, and go below, click commit changes. Okay. Now go to the settings tab, scroll down, and in the left side you can see the second last option, pages. If the source, you can change the source as branch, drop down menu, change it to main, and then there is a save button, click save. Okay. Mm, okay, your site is published at uh, your GitHub username.github.io slash your repo name. Open that. Okay, GitHub error. It may take some because we have done this just now. It may take some time to deploy. Meanwhile, by any chance, if you have filled attendance form, you can fill it. Also, like this video if you have understood the concepts well and you feel this is a great session. Okay, let's refresh this site. Okay, it's now working. This is the link. You can directly share it to anyone, your friends, your family. Okay, we can paste it anywhere. Click enter. This is our website, and you can even test it out on your mobile phone. Okay, let me show you how this will look in a mobile phone. भाई कैसे करते हैं वो मोबाइल वाली चीज. अरे नहीं. see this is the mobile view. Start. Responsive. This is, let's go to Moto G4. Click on start. खत्म करो ये सब मैं काम नहीं करता मैं दिखाऊंगा नहीं let's test this. Okay, it's working fine. See, this is the mobile view. Okay, it's working fine on mobile too. Okay, so our website is successfully hosted with a very good accuracy. Now let's come back to our PPT. Okay, so our web app for AI model is ready and we have also deployed it and created our site link. You can just share your deployed link among your friends and family members and show them what interesting things you have made. You can try out different classification of sound, poses or images. You can show up your creativity. Okay. Also, so now our end-to-end object detection web app is ready with deployment, and this brings us to the end of this webinar. I hope that all of you followed along with me without any difficulties and enjoyed this session. If due to any circumstances you were not able to follow along, you can check out the GitHub repository present in the chat box and also in the description. ISTVIT GitHub repository. You can refer this webinar again later on the ISTV or YouTube channel. Also, you can connect with me on LinkedIn anytime, and I will always be open to communication. You can also send me your different deployed links or different mm, programs of this classification made using AI, made using teachable machine either on LinkedIn or Gmail. So also do make sure you follow the social media handles of IST, Velour, VIT for more such insightful webinars and stay updated with all the webinar events we have to you. Okay. The attendance form will be put up in the chat box. Do make sure to fill it. If you have any feedback for us, you can fill up the feedback form present in the description, which will also be put up in the chat box. Do let us know if we can improve on anything. Your suggestions are incredibly valuable to us. Thank you everyone for attending. Stay safe, stay home, take care of yourself and your surrounding people. Good night and